Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Busy Life Podcast. My name is Julie and I've got my now husband here with me.
Hello.
And today we are going to talk all about the wedding. I put up a poll on Instagram, or not a poll, like a question box. And I just said I wanted to know what you all wanted to know so that way we could talk about it and answer any questions that you've got. I got a lot of good ones, and then I got some that people messaged in other ways. And yeah, we're just gonna go through them one at a time, and then we'll kind of fill in the gaps of the story if there's anything we feel like we left out. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay. So, first question we got was, how was it? That's a good question. It was honestly
stressful.
What? No, that's not where I was going to start.
No, leading up to it.
Oh, well.
But the actual day was amazing. The best day of my life.
I know, me too. Okay, leading up to
especially because of the weather. But just saying.
Do you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Leading up to the wedding, I would say was some of the most stress I've ever gone through, because especially as it gets even closer, I felt like I didn't hire a planner. We had a day of coordinator, but we didn't have a wedding planner. So a lot of the planning was done by me and Ryan and my parents. So you have to make so many decisions, and you really need to take every little detail into consideration, because I don't know, I just feel like that's what made it work. Like the fact that we were so detail oriented. And then we did have an amazing day of coordinator who heard us, and she made everything go so flawlessly. And then there was even things that went really well that we couldn't have planned. Like one thing for sure was, I know I was really upset because it was supposed to rain. And it turns out that it just had like a light sprinkle while we were getting ready. And then all of a sudden there was this rainbow, and everyone came up to us and was like, there's a rainbow, everybody go outside, there's a rainbow. And we got one of the best pictures with the two of us underneath this full rainbow. So how was it the day of? I mean, the morning of and the afternoon of are two totally separate feelings. The morning of, Ryan and I chose not to see each other. We had two separate rooms, and I didn't sleep. Did you actually get any sleep at all?
I slept great.
What the hell? What the hell?
I actually slept better the night before than I did the night after.
What? You did?
I don't know why, but no, because during the actual morning of, I think I haven't been as nervous for anything as I was that day.
And you actually slept, though? I'm still shocked. I could not sleep, and I called Ryan at 2:00 in the morning. I was like, I'm still up, and he was like, well, I'm not. But no, the morning of is super stressful, and you're just, I had the hair and makeup people. I kept telling them, I was like, I'm really nervous, and they were like, yeah, you and everybody else. I was like, no, really, like I think like my blood pressure is getting kind of high. And my makeup lady was like, well, I'm a nurse, like, here, let me take your blood pressure. And she was like, I mean, it's a little high, but Julie, you're getting married. So I would agree that literally leading up to the actual point when you see each other, you're very nervous, because like I said, we chose not to see each other. And we would even like text each other, like, have you had breakfast yet? Because I don't want to come downstairs if you haven't had breakfast yet, because we stayed at this hotel called the Inn, where there was a spa that we got ready at. I got ready at the spa, and we had our pictures taken there. And then we had two separate cars take us to the church. So we worked very hard to make sure that we didn't run into each other at all. And I just remember that part in itself was so stressful, because I was like, I don't want to see him. Oh my God, I'm going to jinx it. Like, this is going to suck so much.
I know. I actually remember how I kept messing with you that I was going to, like, pop up in the spa to see you. But then the actual day came, and I was like super focused and like making sure that I didn't accidentally spot you.
I know.
And like I faced the other way during breakfast.
I know, yeah.
I was scared to look around like at all. because like I felt like if I saw you, it would just be like a bad omen or something.
I know. Well,
And
so
then,
for background, we had breakfast, and there was only one spot where you could have breakfast. And I had eaten, and then I was supposed to go to the spa so that Ryan could then come down, but we weren't ready yet. So he was like, "I'm hungry." I was like, "Okay, well, you come down and eat. I'm gonna go upstairs, and I don't know. Are you gonna be done eating?" And he was like, "No, I just got my food." So
oh
he
my
had to
god.
face away from me, and I didn't even look at him. And everyone was like, "It's okay. Like you guys won't see each other."
Yeah, and the night before, I went to Julie's room
Oh yeah.
just to say hi, see how things were going, and I, immediately got thrown out. I was
Well, because you didn't
screaming
even knock, and
because
my dress was hanging up, and
which I
I
didn't
thought it.
even see.
I'm so
But then I
happy.
actually realized, I shouldn't do that. But I was
Yeah.
just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Get out.
No, no, no. You need to tell the story correctly. I was waiting for one of my bridesmaids to come upstairs because I needed help getting ready for the rehearsal dinner. I was like, I just need somebody to zip my dress. Can somebody come upstairs? And my one bridesmaid texted me and she was like, "Yeah, I'll be up in 5 minutes." So it had been about 5 minutes and I thought it was her. And then all of a sudden I see Ryan's head like peep through in the mirror in the bathroom. And I'm like, "Get out!" And he was like, "Why?" I was like, "My dress is over there. Get out. You're not supposed to be looking in here. You have to tell me if you're coming
well,
in."
well, I knew that for the day of, but I thought I could see you for 5 minutes the night
You
before.
can. You just need to let me know so I can hide the dress. It was literally hanging up like by the window, and it was a big dress. So it was very obviously there. And thank God he didn't even see
No, I
it.
didn't see anything.
Are you sure you're not like just telling me that?
No, I did not see a thing because as soon as I walked in, you were just like in my face and screaming. I was like, all right, I'm getting out. Jeez.
But yeah, so you're really stressed the morning of, and especially because we chose not to see each other, I think made it extra stressful, but in a really good way, because then once we finally did get to see each other, it was just like, wow. And we had all of our wedding party, and we had all of our wedding party go on a party bus, and then me and my sisters, who are my maids of honor, go on a Rolls Royce. And that entire car ride, I just was so stiff because it was a 25-minute drive from the hotel we were staying at to the church. And I remember my sister held my hand, and she was like, "Well, there's no backing out now." I was like, "No shit," but it was very nerve wracking.
All right, so let's move on to the next one so we're not here for 2 hours.
But we didn't even talk about what it was like after that.
Oh, I mean,
We've got plenty of time.
okay. All right. After the wedding?
After I finally got to see you.
Oh man. Well, I was actually saving that for a different question.
Oh, you want to save
My
it?
response to that.
Okay, okay.
But let's move on to the next question and we can circle back if we need
Okay.
to.
How was the honeymoon? Ugh,
Oh gee.
look.
Um
Our day of was the best day of our lives, and our honeymoon was probably the worst trip we've ever taken together.
well, it wasn't that the actual place was that, it wasn't bad. It was the fact that we both got sick. You got really sick.
Yeah, so let's give everybody a little backstory. I
Okay.
had to go to the hospital as soon as we got to Jamaica
Oh,
because I was
interesting.
dehydrated and I was coming down with a cold. And I mean, this has only been a week, and we got back on Sunday and we had to cut our trip short because no amount of Dayquil or NyQuil or anything was making me feel any better. And Jamaica didn't take my insurance. So we spent over $2,000 in the Jamaican hospital just the first night that we were there. Ryan's already getting nervous just thinking about it.
Well, I think that the fact that we weren't in a familiar environment made your symptoms worse.
Well, that, and also the fact that we had a long travel day. So we got up at 4 a.m. We had 2 3-hour flights to get to Jamaica. And Jamaica, from where we live, should only be 3 hours, not 2 3-hour flights. And we hadn't really eaten a lot. We hadn't drinking a lot of water, which is on me. And then we had a 3-hour bus ride to the resort. So it was a very long day.
Yeah, I think that if we had taken some time off, it would have been better because leading up to it, like you said, we didn't eat a lot, we didn't drink enough water, and we definitely didn't sleep enough.
Right,
And then we had
because
the thing with Duke,
yes, that's
our
exactly what I
dog,
was gonna say.
which just added on to it. Then we said, "Hey, let's go on a trip," which was already planned, so we couldn't just not go.
For those people who don't know, our dog Duke got pneumonia. We picked him up. We took them to go to a little boarding center the weekend of our wedding, and when we picked them up, Duke and Tucker, Duke looked horrible. So I took Duke to the hospital, and he ended up having pneumonia, and he had to stay overnight. So we had to bump our wedding back a day, or not our wedding. We had to bump our honeymoon back a day, and we had just been so stressed, like nonstop, that the only non-stressful part was the actual wedding day, like when I saw Ryan and like when it actually began, like when we got to party and have dinner and do all the fun stuff. That wasn't stressful. But everything else leading up to it was, maybe it was just too much. So if I could give any advice on a honeymoon, I would say to give yourself a little bit of time, maybe not go right after, but maybe for some people that works really well. But if we could do it over again, I think we would give ourselves a little bit of time and then go, because I got sick and then Ryan got sick, and it was just not the trip that we had hoped for. But I'll take it. I mean, I'll take a really good wedding day over a not so great honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we did the traditional go right after the wedding, but for us, it probably would have been better to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, the weather there didn't help.
Oh my God.
It
And then it was
rained
also
almost every day.
raining. Yes.
So just a
Uh,
lot of different factors, but we'll just have to go somewhere else
that's okay.
at
And we'll
another
do,
time.
yeah, a redo honeymoon. What did you learn about yourselves during this process? Ooh, good question. I would say I learned that I really do care about the little things. Like the little things that make life so important. I learned that all those people that show up and the little moments that we had throughout that day and leading up to the day of really meant a lot to me, because I could see it come together and I could see it, you know, come full circle. And that day, I've never felt so loved and so happy. And I just kept telling Ryan, I've never felt like this before. So I learned to appreciate the little things in life more, because when you have moments like a wedding and moments where people genuinely are coming together to celebrate you because they are genuinely so happy for you, that's not something that you can pretend. And it's something that we should be appreciative of more often.
I think I learned to, um, not be so nervous, not overthink things so much. Just like, especially on the morning of, and just I was in my own head a lot, just like kind of internally freaking out because it's just such a big, huge moment in your life. And I thought something, I might not, I don't know, do a good job at it, or, not perform up to the standards that people are wanting to see. But I mean, all you really got to do is just be there and be in the moment. And there was nothing, it was, I mean, nothing bad could have happened if I would have just thought that, if I would have just taken a step back and relaxed. um, I would have seen that. And then, when the actual ceremony happened and everyone's there for you, and like you said, all the love and support that you get. I mean, there's no reason to not feel anything but just such happiness.
I think I remember I said to Ryan too, what do you feel like you're going to mess up on?
Yeah.
And what do you remember what you said?
I don't even remember now. No.
Yeah, you were like, I don't know. I was like, exactly. There's literally nothing you could
It's just
mess
being
up
in the
on.
spotlight, though.
Yeah.
But I actually really liked it. I mean, I just liked, I loved the ceremony. I thought it was great. And, we had to do a few things like, walking around, and, we practiced for them, and holding the hands, and then Louis doing
The Stefano. So
Stefano, yeah.
Ryan and I got married in a Greek church. We are both baptized Greek Orthodox. So we had a traditional Greek wedding. And a Greek wedding is, just like any other kind of wedding, it has its own unique, beautiful moments to it where there's 3 times that you walk around the altar and you're supposed to do it like in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And it's you walking, basically taking your first steps together as husband and wife. And your best man and your maid of honor have 2 very important roles in that because my maids of honor were my sisters and they were holding my dress as we were walking, and then our best man, which is my cousin and Ryan's best friend Louis, um, he was our kumbaro, which basically means that he's a very important person in our life. And we asked him and his wife Anaí if they wanted to be our combado because that's just a huge role you take on, and that basically means that he was our witness and he was the one that helped marry us along with our priest. So it was really special and really cool to have my sisters and Louis up there with us. I think that was I look at the pictures and I watch the videos back, and that's just one of my favorites to look at is the 3 of them there because they are definitely 3 of our biggest supporters. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, how did you pick your bridesmaids? Easy. I picked 10 bridesmaids and I picked the 10 most important women in my life that I are my besties, my cousins, my sisters, my sister-in-law. I mean, my god sister. I picked people that have supported me the most and have always been there for me up until this day. And they're the people that I wanted by my side. They really are. And we still have our group chat. Each of them now has a contact photo in my phone of the pictures I took with them for my photographer. And I don't know how I picked them. It was just I just knew it was my best friends, my sisters, my like I said, my sister-in-law, my god sister, just the people in my life that have always been there for me that I really wouldn't have wanted anybody else up there. Ooh, pros and cons about your venue. So
I
many
can't
pros.
even think of a con.
I know so many
I
pros.
think they were. I think it was a perfect place, first place we went to, and I already knew when we first visited. I was
Yeah.
like, this is it. I mean, we can go see the other ones, but
Yeah.
no, this is it.
So we got married at the Chesapeake Bay Beach Club in Stevensville, Maryland, which is right over the Bay Bridge. And yeah, like Ryan said, we had designated a whole day to touring different places. And that was the first one on our tour, and it was instantaneous. Like we walked in and it's on the water. Like I said, you can see the Bay Bridge from the back. They have a couple different like actual venues, like they've got different ballrooms is what they're called. So we picked one called the Beach House Ballroom, which is so perfect for me and Ryan because we both love the beach, and just the entire vibe of it all was just it was just it. It was like when you know, and we knew. And then we went to another place afterwards, and it was not it. We went to another place afterwards, and that was absolutely not it. And then
And more expensive.
yeah, and more expensive.
So this place was really good and affordable. If you're gonna get married, go to the Chesapeake Bay Beach Club. I think the only con, might be if, for one thing, if you don't like driving on the Bay Bridge.
Oh yeah.
And if there's like an accident or some crazy traffic that happens, which, I mean, we got some traffic going there the day before because of the weather, but the actual wedding day we were fine.
No. The great thing is
Yeah.
that we kind of planned it almost perfectly, and we didn't even realize that because everyone kept saying, "Oh, be careful of traffic on the bridge. Be careful of traffic on the bridge." And I was like, I don't think that there's going to be any. Like I'm not a traffic expert, but I really don't think there's going to be traffic. And I was right because the day before there was so much traffic because everybody wanted to get to the beach. If you're from Maryland, you know that that is the only bridge that you can take to get to the beach. But Saturday, I mean, by 3 o'clock, nobody's really on their way to the beach. They're already there. So That would be, I would say, the only con. I mean, you get one of their amazing day of coordinators. I had Samantha, shout out to Sam and her assistant. They were amazing. Maggie and Sam, I appreciate you both. And the food is amazing. We had our day of the tasting when we got to taste all the food items was so awesome. I would say, you get what you pay for too. Things were a little bit expensive, but it was worth every single penny. I have absolutely no regrets with anything that we picked from there. And I don't know, it was perfect.
Yeah, it was beautiful inside and out. It gave enough room for people to hang out outside or inside if they wanted to. You
Yes.
had the view of the bay right there, multiple rooms. I mean, everything. I mean, everything was perfect, especially for the amount of people we had.
It was just breathtaking too. Like I said, the rainbow in the front, the sunset on the water. It was great. The people there are great. The food was great. The view is great. It was just, if you live in Maryland and you don't know where to get married, go to the Chesapeake Bay Beach Club and tell them that we sent you because we absolutely love it. And ask to work with Sam. Okay, de-stressing day of tips. Woof. I wish I could give you some. No, I'm just kidding. I think the best thing was just playing some music, remembering why we were there.
Shots.
Okay. Definitely take some deep breaths. I brought my gratitude journal with me, and I did have a moment when I woke up alone before I checked my phone. I stuck to my routine. I got some stretches in. I did have, just a moment by myself, and I kept that to myself because I was like, you know what? This is my wedding day. I want to appreciate it. I want to make sure that I'm present for it. That was my goal for myself, was to make sure I was mentally there. And yeah, I was stressed, at least for the morning, but it worked. I controlled myself. I brought myself back down to earth, and I fully can say that I was present and I embraced every moment of that day after all the craziness.
Yeah, and I would also say to just surround yourself with, the people that you want there. I mean, they're there for you, and that's what I did with, like, when all my groomsmen were together with me in the room. We were all getting ready, we were just having a good time. They helped calm me down and like just let loose.
Mm-hmm.
So that really helped a lot.
That's a good, well, and that's good, for the previous question of how do you pick your bridesmaids or your groom's party, pick the people that you want to encourage you and you want to take care of you that day, because they know that you're going to be stressed that day. They know you're going to be nervous, and they don't want you to be, they want you to have a good time. They want to be there for you. So pick the people that are going to do that. And I think we can definitely say everybody on his side and my side, the best people. The best. We nailed that. Did you do a first look? We did not. And I'm actually really glad we didn't, because I did a first look with my dad. I wanted to do some kind of first look, and actually that didn't even work out because I was waiting to find my dad and he walked out of the elevator. So immediately the photographer and the videographer like quickly pulled their camera out, and they were like, oh, get it, get it, get it, get it. And my dad just saw me and his mouth dropped and he squeezed me because he was hugging me, and he just started sobbing, and then he just walked away. So, but I didn't do that with Ryan because I wanted Ryan, we both wanted this. We wanted the first time he saw me to be when I walked down the aisle. And I mean, tell us about that. What was that like for you?
That was my favorite part of the whole wedding. Because and I remember waiting in the back of the church with Louis, my best man, and he was like, just keep your eyes on her. Nothing else around you is gonna matter. And he was right. And he's like, this is a moment you'll never get back. I mean, you'll remember it the rest of your life. And I remember just when the bridesmaids were walking down, the anticipation's building up,
yeah.
And then the music started, and I'm standing there, and you first walked through, and my heart was just pounding out of my chest. And then I got a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, you did.
But I I couldn't believe how amazing he looked.
No.
And I mean, he's right. I'll never forget that. That was by far my most cherished part of the wedding for sure.
No. This is the most sappy Ryan's ever been.
Just remembering, just how amazing it was. I mean, I wish I could go back to that moment. It was so
Oh.
amazing.
It really, I really think it was worth it. You do whatever works for you. If you want to first look, go ahead. If you don't, that's fine. We went with what we wanted, and I think a good piece of advice I would give is to communicate. Everyone always jokes that, oh, this is her wedding, she's planned it, and it's what she's wanted ever since she was little, and da 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 da. It's what Ryan wanted too. There was nothing that I did or that I would email about or plan that I didn't run by him, as long as it, applied to him. I don't think he really cared about the dresses that I had my bridesmaids wear or the color of the flowers, but I always showed him, like, hey, look at the dresses I'm going to show my bridesmaids. Hey, look, these are the flowers that I picked out. And having us plan it together and remembering that it's our wedding. It's not just Julie's marrying Ryan. It was our wedding, made it feel so important. So another part of what we wanted was we wanted the first look to be when I went down the aisle. And because that's what we wanted, it honestly worked out perfectly. Oh, that's funny. The next question is, what was your favorite part of the day?
Yeah, of course. Well, mine. Although I also have a second favorite moment was when after the first dance and we started Greek dancing, the whole crowd just got on the
Yes,
immediately.
it was your classic big fat Greek wedding, which
Yeah.
is why our hashtag was my big Hobbs Greek wedding. We had our first dance, which was to, actually, I'm gonna go backwards a little bit because this was part of my favorite part too. Our entrance song was Dancing Queen, which is my all-time favorite song. And my favorite video that I'm going to post one day of the entire wedding party entering to Dancing Queen.
Kicking things off with the parents. A round of applause to the parents of the bride, Mr. and Mrs. Chris and Tony Nicholas.
My favorite part was when the DJ restarted the song so that we came in on the chorus and everyone's just cheering for you and it's so happy and we were just beaming. Like I could just feel it, and Ryan's spinning me.
And introduce for the first time your bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Julie and Ryan.
And then we went into our first dance song, which is Perfect by Ed Sheeran, because it's a perfect song for a perfect day. And that was great because we practiced it so many times, so many times. And I loved it. And then it went into what Ryan's talking about, where you have a song, which is literally called, in Greek, it means Dancing the Bride. And the bride and the groom lead it, but the bride goes first. And Ryan and I we practiced these Greek dances for months. We even had a Greek dancing night with our wedding party to be like, if anybody wants to practice with us, they can. And we weren't sure if everybody was going to get up and dance. I mean, I knew people would because I know my family, but literally the entire room jumped up and jumped in and danced, and he ended up playing a couple Greek songs after that because we were so into it. And it was like the party started literally the minute that the Greek music started, and it was so cool.
I was determined to learn those dances.
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing on that day. And I remember when we started, I was like looking down and making sure I was doing it right in the beginning, and then I look up and it's just sea of people.
Yes.
I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. And then I just remember because like I've been to a few Greek weddings now, and I don't remember ever just that many people joining the floor that quickly. I mean, they do eventually,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't remember that in other weddings that we've been to where they, they do the Greek dancing, and I don't, that many people that quickly coming on the floor with you.
I don't
I
know.
thought that we would start out, and then it would eventually people would start to come in more and more, but it's
Hell no, my family likes to party.
well.
No, my family was ready, but also we planned it that way. Again, I talked to my DJ, Chris Styles. He was amazing, and all my vendors were amazing. And he said, I definitely recommend that after your first dance, you jump right into this one since this one has a specific meaning. You want the crowd to be ready. And then it was perfect because then after that, everybody sat down. They're a little tired. They're ready for their salad. And we went into the speeches. So my parents had the first toast before the salads. And oh my goodness, because this is the next question. Which speech was your favorite? I can't pick a favorite because they were all so different. However, let me just talk about them a little bit. My parents had a speech. It was a beautiful toast. And then my cousin Louis had his best man speech, and it was very sweet, very sentimental. Louis, I call him my double bubble cousin because he's basically like my brother. And it was just so sweet, such a good speech. Good job, Louis. And then the music happened. And all of a sudden, my sisters turned their maid of honor speech into a iconic dance and song that we will never forget.
And Kristen, your sister, kept going on and on
Oh my God.
about how I was not going to expect any of it, no matter how much I tried to guess, and she was right.
I could have never
my
guessed
mouth
that.
dropped. I had no idea they were going to do this.
No.
I should have had like a bit of a suspicion though with it being Kristen, but I did not. I had no idea that they would do that.
Yeah.
In front of all those people,
oh
and
my
it was
God.
great.
It was iconic, and I'm going to play a little bit of it at the end of this, but basically they took Don't Stop Believin' and turned it into a song about how me and Ryan met and our love story, and it was just the best, and everybody's jaws dropped. Everyone had their phone out, their cameras out. It was just insane. She even had somebody filming them and then somebody filming me and Ryan and our reactions, and I'll have to post those because it was just wow. But they definitely got a 10 out of 10 for best maid of honor speech. Okay, we're running a little bit over time for the usual time frame that I have here, so we're just going to pick a couple more questions, and then we are going to wrap up this episode. Let me see. Some of these I've kind of already mentioned. Did you have a wedding planner? No, I was the wedding planner, except for I had Samantha from the Chesapeake Bay Beach Club. She was my day of coordinator, and she was a massive help because she even helps you before the day of. So I consider her my wedding planner. Is there any part of it you would do differently? I don't think so. I honestly think it went more perfectly than I could have planned. I mean, the weather was supposed to be shit, and it ended up being the most beautiful day of the whole week. Like literally, guys, the week before was cold and rainy and 62, and that's such weird weather for June in Maryland. And then finally that day, it was like the skies just cleared up. There was a rainbow, a full rainbow, and the sunset was just insane. I mean, it was just, no, I don't think there's anything I would have done differently at all. I mean, I'm sure if I really sat down and tried to think of something I could, but it's not even worth it because it's over now and we are both on cloud nine. And I don't think that there's anything I would have done differently.
No, I think everything was perfect. I mean, the food was great. The venue was great. Everyone there was great. Julie did an amazing job with the planning and everything, and getting it all set up, and I think that I don't think anything else could have gone any better on it.
No, I mean we worked so hard for a year and a half being engaged, which I think is a great time frame. I whatever works for us might not work for you guys, but I personally liked it because it was long enough where I had time to think about things and then take breaks from it and then come back to it, then take breaks from it. And then, yes, the month before leading up to it, especially I would say couple weeks leading up to it, you're like, oh shit. But no,
Because it comes up fast.
It does.
It comes up real fast.
My advice to you would just be do what works for you and your partner. If you guys know you like things done a certain way, do it. Oh, this is huge. I would say,
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Don't listen to other people. If they're telling you, hey, you need this, you need that, you should have this, you should have that, fuck it. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, so many things that we planned kind of just, went with the flow. Like, oh, you typically have a cake, you typically have this, you typically have that. And most of those things we wanted anyway. But there was definitely things that Ryan and I wanted that other people were like, I don't know if I would do that. I didn't care. We did them anyway. And it ended up being that those were the things that people were like, oh my God, I love that. Like, for example, I may have spent $300 something on little Duke and Tuckers for our cake. And everybody got a picture of that cake. And they're like, oh my God, your cake. Oh my God, your dog's on the cake. And now they're cute little statues I have of the dogs that I have just like on our mantle. Just little things like that we did and that we chose. They meant so much to us. And you can't be bothered by other people's opinion. If you really want it for your day, it's your day. I had to tell myself that so many times. And you do need to remember that people are saying the things that they're saying just because they love you and they want to help you and they want to make this less stressful for you. But I promise you, listen to them and then make your own decision. Let it go in one ear and let it come out the other if it has to. It is okay, and everyone gets over it, and they actually probably forget about half the other shit that you even talked about, because then the day happens and you're like, wow, it all worked out even better than I could have planned.
Yeah, I think that you should listen to other people's advice, especially if they might be more experienced than you. But at the end of the day, you should still do it the way you want to do it. You only get one wedding. Well, I mean,
But this is your day.
Yeah, right. So it should be the way you want it.
Exactly.
But still be open to other suggestions. But at the end of the day, do what feels right.
Exactly. It's your day. Do what you want. Yes, listen to those people. I'm not saying be a bitch and ignore them. But at the end of the day, you can respectfully say, you know what? Thank you so much, but we're going to do it this way. Were you nervous at all? We already answered that. What was your workout plan leading up to the wedding? I didn't have a specific one. I just tried to stay as consistent as possible. For me, working out is really for my mental health almost the most. I'm very confident and I developed a very strong relationship with my body, and I knew the best way that I could take care of my overall health, mental, emotional, physical, was just to stay on track, stay doing what I know works, and just keep up the consistency, because in the end, that is what kept me the most sane. Did you have anything specific you did?
I mean, I did my normal, usual thing, but I didn't sweat it. I didn't really overthink it and go crazy with that aspect. I wasn't even thinking about that, getting closer and then the day of. I mean, obviously you don't want to just completely forget about it, but
no, I don't recommend that either. I don't recommend totally dropping the ball and being like, oh, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, right. You still got to fit into your suit or whatever. But I mean, just keep up the normal routine. You don't have to do anything crazy or drastically different. I don't think.
Do what you know
Don't crash
works.
diet.
Oh, hell no. Fuel your body. Move your body in ways that works for you. Take time to de-stress and decompress. And I promise. Oh, and don't forget to drink your water. And I promise it'll be worth it. Who are your vendors and how did you pick them? Oh my God, we had so many. Chesapeake Bay Beach Club was where we had our reception. The St. Constantine and Helen Greek Church in Annapolis is where we had our rehearsal dinner and where we had our ceremony.
They had very good food too.
Oh yeah, very good. Oh God, that rehearsal dinner food was so good too. A big thing that, if you can't tell, was that Ryan and I really did care about the food.
That was my number one thing.
Yeah, we wanted everybody to leave having good food.
That was like the two things I cared about most. Now I know like you handle like the flowers and stuff. I was like, I want to make sure people have a good time in a good venue and they have good food.
Oh yeah. It bothered Ryan that we didn't get to try the food before we booked the place. And I was like, that's just not how it works. And he was like, how do you know? And I was like, I've been to weddings here before. I've heard that the food is good here. We have to trust it. And he was like, and what if it's not? It ended up being so fucking good. So definitely recommend them. Our flowers were Michael's Design Florist in Annapolis. Again, a lot of these are local, so I mean, I can give off my recommendations, but if you, depending on where you live, you're gonna have to probably find places that work with you or near you, or you're gonna need to pay them some travel time. Our photographer, Christina, was amazing, Vasiliki Photos, and she had her assistant Bree. Our videographer was Marcus from Visuals by Marcus. He was also amazing. Cake was Cupcakes and Company, which is, for us, it's over here in Ellicott City. That was so delicious. Oh my God. They gave us like a half dozen to try before, like just making sure we liked the flavors. And oh my God. We went with a classic vanilla cake with vanilla buttercream, but we had like 3 different fillings that you could have picked from. So we had like a whole table of all the cake and you could pick your piece. And we had raspberry filling, fudge filling, or caramel filling. And honestly, all 3 of them were amazing. And they're going to make us a small cake for our anniversary instead of saving. We chose not to save the top and just feed everybody the cake because honestly, almost the entire cake went. We only got like 3 slices left to take home with us. And they're going to make us a fresh one. And I think we're going to go with the raspberry because that was our original flavor we picked. But God, their cake was so good. Okay, we got photos. Oh, makeup, hair and makeup. I did the spa at the Chesapeake Bay Beach Club, which was all at the inn at the Chesapeake Bay Beach Club. I tried to keep everything local. Our DJ was Chris Stiles. He was amazing. Honestly, all of it. Oh, my dress I got from Posh Bridal, which is a shop here in Frederick, Maryland. Ryan got his tux, and the groom's party got their tuxes from Men's Warehouse. My girls got their dresses from Azazi. We had the color Spa, but the problem is that Spa is not available anymore. So definitely check it out though, because they have a ton of different colors, and you can use my link to get a discount on your dress that you purchase next time. And they come in so many different sizes. And honestly, all of my bridesmaids have different bodies, and everyone's body is different regardless. And every single one of them looked beautiful. Shoes I got from Amazon. I got just some pretty white sparkly heels from Amazon. And invitations, I think, were Zazzle. Same thing with Save the Dates. Gosh, I can't remember. I think anything else I got was probably off of Etsy or Amazon. But yeah, it was genuinely the best day of our lives. And we kept saying that to each other throughout the entire night. And if I could just...
Oh, and then don't forget the rolls.
Oh yeah, we had a party bus. We had, which is I think Blanchard Limousine Company, and we had a Rolls Royce take us off. After we got married, we walked into a Rolls Royce. Our driver was amazing. Shout out to him. And it had a Just Married sign on the back, so we drove over the Bay Bridge with the Just Married sign. If I could do it all over again, just to watch it, I would. Like, just because it was so amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I can't stop saying this. We genuinely had the best day of our lives, and it means a lot to me that you guys sent in these questions and that you wanted to hear about it. I'm honestly still on cloud 9, and I appreciate all of you guys so much. we do have a lot of amazing things coming to the podcast, so stay tuned. And I can't wait to talk to you guys on the next episode.